You're listening to BBC Radio Wales with me, Anna Ryder Richardson, in for the beautiful Benny, both today and tomorrow. Now, cast your minds back 50 years to the day, and you might remember a certain baby-faced 13-year-old performing on the John Peel sessions. Since then, it's been nothing but greatness for them. Having signed onto Elton John's record label, he would go on to record duets with Aled Jones, Bonnie Tyler, as well as tour with the likes of Belinda Carlisle and Art Garfunkel. Joining me now to chat about his new single, Breathe, and tell us all about a special 50th anniversary concert at the Swansea Grand Theatre on the 3rd of October. I've been going on about him all afternoon. He's here. It's Mal Pope.
Well, it's nice to meet you, because we've talked a lot, we've never face to face. This is lovely. This is lovely.
It is delightful. And I have been saying that I do love it when there's live music as well, because there's only me in the room, isn't it? So it feels very special.
Well, I'll try not to
the fact that there are millions listening, nothing to do with it. So let's talk about your new single, Breathe. Tell us all about it.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? You've mentioned my history. Maybe we'll talk a bit about that, because it's a special day, 50 years since being on the John Peel show. But you know, I like visiting the past. I don't want to live there, but I've given myself a little bit of latitude these last couple of weeks because of the anniversary. Breathe. You know, it sounds like I've got a fantastic career from hearing what you said. I always think of it being as a series of unconnected events that have got me to here. And sometimes things don't go well. And I wrote a musical about a boxer called Tommy Farr. And with that, we had Mike Doyle, who has played the part of Tommy Farr. He got trained by Enzo Macronelli's dad, Mario Macronelli. And Mario always used to say, he said, we all take a punch. You go down on one knee, you put your arm on the rope, you breathe and count for 8. You don't get up before 8. You don't wait till 10, because you might not make it. But once you get to 8, you get back up. And that thing about breathing and breathing through a problem, you know, because, you know, let's face it, it might look great on the outside. Everybody's got a story to tell. And that's what Breathe is all about. It's just breathing through those problem times.
I think that's so apt, though. I think that is a word that we're all trying to... I certainly... You know, how often do we get a little bit tense and we stop breathing?
Yeah.
We hold our breath.
Yeah, and it's not surprising all the religions do that in meditation thing. You know, it's that rhythm of your breathing. Being mindful, yes. I try to be mindful when I'm not too busy.
Well, we're going to hear it later. But let's see, as you said, today is a very, very special day. And 50 years ago, you performed on the John Peel sessions. Can we take a trip back in time to just hear a tiny snippet from that now?
Dream, dream castle upon a hill or setting. Dream of a brave knight who will cry aloud. Come on, people, leave your sorrows, leave your bad days with tomorrows, and finally you'll agree. Finally you'll agree with me. And finally you'll agree. Finally you'll agree with me.
I don't know about you, but I want to cry. That was just beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I mean, it's my mum and dad have passed away, and so lots of stuff have come into my collection. Like, I've got my dad's diary here. Maybe I'll read a bit from it. But a lot of cassettes, and the cassette of that original session. And John Peel says he wrote this when he was 9. He said he had written 2 songs beforehand, but they weren't very good. This one's not too bad. And but the thing is, I was a seasoned, you know, performer by then, because I'd performed in school. I'd do the Eisteddfods, I'd do the school assemblies. I used to sing in our youth club almost every Friday and Saturday night. So I suppose I was used to getting up and performing, you know. And we went to London, my brothers and I. I mean, I've got the, you know, David carried the guitar case. Maldwyn walked behind to see he didn't bang it on anything. And then my dad takes my mother and my grandmother down to the ladies' meeting. I mean, we weren't a showbiz family.
Because you said in the diary it says great tomatoes.
Oh yeah, look, the 17th, the big day of my life, the day my life changed forever. First tomatoes of the season, in big starred letters from my dad. Then he goes on. He does actually say. My brother rang to say, Maldwyn's photograph in the Mirror, I bought 7 copies.
I mean, it's just so delightful, though, isn't it? Because how did he know that his son was going to go on and you'd be sitting here 50 years later?
Well, you know, it's like if I go to October the 30th. So my dad's a headmaster, Sunday school superintendent, and he used to, you know, they just take it in turns to be my chaperone. He's got here, Rush to Rocket Records at 5 p.m. This is the 30th of October. A gay old time with Elton John and the others. Paddington in the fan Phantom 5 Rolls Royce, a pleasant journey home. So he went from being a teacher, doing the gardening, to suddenly be... And he was great, because when I first met Elton, I was a bit tongue-tied, because he was my idol. And I just remember Elton John, pink hair, just come back from the biggest tour of America, and my dad filled in the gap by talking about gardening. So, great memories.
So you just hit it off with Elton. It was he just like a sort of, I don't know, uncle to you?
Well, you've seen
Uncle
what
Elt?
you know what he's... I think more like a big brother, to be honest, because he's not... I mean, I know he is thinking about retiring now, and it's a long way off for me. But he was almost like a big brother. He didn't have any brothers of his own, and we both love football. He had the most amazing games room in a place called Virginia Water.
Well, we were talking, weren't we? Because I live round the corner from it, and I just remember being on my bike and a huge big car, which you were probably in.
Probably was.
Nearly knocked me off my bike.
So we'd get, we do things like a great day tomorrow, Maldwin, because you never get me Maldwin. And I'd wake up, there was a towel waiting for me. It had Superstar on it. We got in the Rolls Corniche. We drove to Watford, to Vicarage Road, and we trained with the Watford first team, because he was the chairman of the club. I beat him at the beauty of football. I mean, and it's funny, because I was watching Glastonbury, and he started off with Pinball Wizard, and I remember I got a knock on the door to get a cab from my hotel room. Special day. I got to this big building in Twickenham, opened the door. Pete Townsend was there. Oh. Keith Moon. They recorded Pinball Wizard, and they had a special chair for me just above the piano booth. So I sometimes feel like the Forrest Gump of rock and roll, because I was in all these amazing places, but almost by accident.
I'm telling you, there should be a film, the Mal Pope film adventures. So you must have seen all sorts with Elton John. Did you go to parties?
Yeah, I mean, I've got my autograph book here. So
You've brought it all in today, listeners.
Yeah. This is best wishes to our next star, Elton John. I'm very glad you did your first programme on Top Gear from the world's most boring man, John Peel. But this was after the big concert at Hammersmith Odeon. And actually, the barman was a guy called Graham Chapman, who was in Monty Python. Oh. And then Elton just took me around to meet everybody from Ringo Starr to Cat Stevens, and he made sure that they all signed my autograph book, and it's been with me ever since.
It's so lovely and in very good condition. Right, I think we need to hear the new single now, and you've kindly brought in your acoustic guitar even. So listeners, we're in for a real treat. Let's kick off this afternoon with a live performance of your latest single, Breathed.
Somebody there called out my name, turning my scream into a whisper. You took my hand and you led me home. You said I'd never be alone. So what am I really doing here? Where am I gonna find an answer? 'Cause the darkness just keeps rolling in, and I just don't know where to begin. So I just breathe, say your name as I breathe in. I call for the comforter to come, to hold me up and make me strong. And I just breathe, say your name as I breathe out. Oh, talk about you in my sleep, while I'm asking you, my soul to keep. And I just breathe. Maybe the message wasn't clear, maybe I wasn't really listening, but inside I know I wasn't wrong. But it's just so hard to keep on going, so I just breathe, say your name as I breathe in. Call for the comforter to come, to hold me up and make me strong. And I just breathe, say your name as I breathe out. I talk about you in my sleep, while I'm asking you, my soul to keep. And I just breathe. Ooh, Somebody said you would open the door. I'm just praying it'll happen quickly, as the Furies fight to steal my peace. I'm just praying for that sweet release, so I just breathe. Say your name as I breathe in. Call for the comforter to come, to hold me up and make me strong. I just breathe. Say your name as I breathe out. I talk about you in my sleep, while I'm asking you, my soul to keep. And I just breathe.
Incredible.
Thank you.
You're listening to BBC Radio Wales with me, Anna Ryder Richardson, and if you've just joined us, make sure you listen again on BBC Sounds, as we've just had some incredible, sensational live music from the one and only Mal Pope with Breathe. I mean, beautiful.
Thank you.
And your video for Breathe is set in Mumbles. Is that the perfect place for you to take a deep breath, rest?
Oh, it is. Yeah,
breathe?
you know, I have lived away from the sea for a short part of my life, and I hated it. And so to be able to go down to walk along the beach along the front, as I do most mornings these days, and it's been wonderful, particularly these wonderful mornings we've had with the weather, apart from the weekend. It's a special place for me.
Oh, I think even the rain's quite nice, actually. Yeah. So we watched Elton John have his farewell tour, didn't we, very recently? Do you think he might be coming out of retirement? Because you've got a rather big celebration coming on the 3rd of October.
Well, obviously, I can't say who's going to be at the concert at the Swansea Grand Theatre on the 3rd of October. I'm asking some friends back, people that I've recorded with over the years as well. I mean, it's a funny thing with Elton. I mean, he's going to do some gigs, isn't he? I mean, he's not going to tour quite as extensively as he has, but he's definitely, I mean, with that talent, and he'll get bored, knowing what he's like. He's retired so many times. He's like the Frank Sinatra, isn't he, of rock and roll?
Because I suppose when you've got it in your blood, like you have music, you can write, you can perform, you can, how does that ever end? You can't just, maybe your voice does, I don't know. Yeah. Yours certainly isn't.
Well, the great thing about Elton, he's controlled his voice. He sings much deeper these days. He's got a fantastic band. I mean, most of those bands played on my records. That was the amazing thing about it. He knows what he can do. He really knows his gig, as we say, and he's match fit. But that's what he is. He's a musician. He's a performer. I can't see it lasting. Although he's got a lovely family now, so that's something that he never had. When I used to know him quite well, that's why the football club became his family, or the record company became his family, or people like me became part of his family for a short space of time. So
talking of family, on the 3rd of October in Swansea's Grand Theatre, what can people expect?
The unexpected. So I'll have my band there. Let me just say, I've twisted the arm of people like Steve Balsamo. Steve's going to be there. Elisa Bonagura. There are a couple of other people who I'm just waiting on, see how diaries match
come
up.
on.
But it won't be a complete retrospective, but it'll be all the songs that maybe I've sung over the years that people might remember. Maybe even Fireman Sam, who knows? Maybe I'll stick that in.
Gosh, what's it like listening to that? Because at the time you probably thought, I'll just knock that out, that little jingle.
Yeah, well, it was weird because I did Super Ted first of all, then Fireman Sam. I mean, it was a time when Wales was producing cartoons, and I seemed to get the gig because I could sing in English and Gymraeg. So it was good. My kids were so embarrassed when they were young, and now two of the boys live in London. It's one of the first chat-up lines they use. Yeah, my dad sang Fireman Sam. And it opens many doors apparently.
Well, I'm very impressed, to be honest. I'm very impressed with your whole career. But did you ever have a plan B if music? Because, I mean, you started so young, and we heard your delightful 13-year-old voice at the beginning of this. But did you ever have a plan B?
Yeah, I mean, I was, it was a difficult time. I left university. I was being managed by Harvey Goldsmith. He managed me, Billy Connolly and Van Morrison. Right.
I mean, the names that you can just reel out.
Absolutely. And it's bizarre, but I was completely in the right place with the right people at the wrong time. By 1981, 82, punk had taken over, and that's how I came back and started working in radio. But I've always sort of bounced back and forth, doing a bit of radio, a bit of TV, and the music. And in many ways, it's easier now because all the tools are at your disposal. We've just made a record with a symphony orchestra from Prague, bass players, drummers, all over Wales, and we've hardly ever met each other. The old best best friends, but you can do that now. You can make a video on your iPhone. You know, that's the way things are going. But so can everybody else. So actually...
Yeah, but they're not all talented like you, Mal. Come on.
Yeah, well, but, you know, in the old days, if you got a record deal, you were past the first couple of hurdles. So it's difficult, but it's easier. It's funny, isn't it? The world changes and you have to adapt to it. And I'm loving that stuff about, you know, creating videos, you know, writing the songs. And you know, I've just been working with the Archbishop of Canterbury, the former Archbishop of Canterbury, for a new record that's coming out next month.
With him?
Yeah, he's rapping on it. Well, I say
Stop
rapping.
it.
I say rapping, but he's definitely he's got a great voice. In fact, when I was in university, right, this is a true story. I did economics. I thought I'd do theology because I come from a little gospel hall. My dad was a preacher, and they said, "There's an old boy from your school in this college. Go and have a chat with him." So I went 20 minutes. Tea and biscuits. I told him why I ought to do theology. He looked over his bushy eyebrows over his glasses. Mal, it's not for you. It was Dr. Rowan Williams, the Archbishop of Canterbury. He told me not to study theology. He could see right through me.
He was right.
He was absolutely right.
He was right.
He was right.
Oh, you are absolutely incredible, and thank you so much.
Oh, it's a joy.
Just for me personally, to have you playing and singing in my ear, it was just delightful. I love it. The new track from Mal Pope, Breathe, which is out now, isn't it?
It's number 24 in the Heritage Chart, so that's very good
and
news.
big party in October the 3rd at Swansea Grand Theatre.
That's the 50th anniversary of signing the record deal with Elton John.
You don't look old enough.
Thank you very much.
Honestly, thank you so much, Mal. Right,